Every once in a while you need to create an image for a sci-fi texture using polar coordinates, and we're going to take a look at a new tool in Howler that will help you to do this in an interactive way, and you can see some examples of how you might use these textures for spaceship type applications and such. Polar coordinates are wrapped around a sphere, sort of like spherical mapping and that sort of thing. So just taking a look at some of these textures here, you can see what the kind of thing we have in mind, and this is that texture in particular. We also created some windows and a light map for that, or illumination map for that as well. And we also use a program called JSplacement, which creates some nice 8K displacement maps. You can see the type of things it creates here. And that's basically that. So let's jump into Howler. I have a texture loaded. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see better. Get rid of the sidebar, we don't need it right now. Just get a little less cluttered. And we'll go into the filter called, under the transform menu, called Warp Polar Designer. It'll give us a nice little window here. We can resize it. You can see it's wrapping. All that stuff's nice, but what good is it if that's all it does? Well, also it is interactive, so we can just click here and start drawing this way, etc., etc. Let me get rid of that. Or alternatively, we can just go ahead and draw in our main image, and that'll be something we can also do. So let's move this over a little bit. There's also a couple other warping modes. I like this one better. I think it'll be better for a sci-fi texture. And one thing we need to do is, you can see the textures down here at the pole, they're really crammed together, where the ones out towards the outside are really spaced far apart. We want to make these smaller because there's no reason for all these little gadgets to be bigger on the outside. They should be the same size. So let's pick a couple of zones here and just rescale these things. Let's say it's starting here, and I can use that input panel as an input panel, and then I get my selection down here, so I can see where I want to start selecting, which would be about here, and I'll just go all the way to the top for this example. And we want to go and transform this now with the transform filter. It has one nice property in that we can scale it down, but we can also tile this. So let's click tile, and that'll fill in the extra details for us. Other things we can do, of course, we can shift. It's kind of fun to watch in that Polar Designer. That in itself could be useful for something, I suppose. Right there. I'll hit OK, and I want to do that again up here somewhere. So let me select up here, and I can see where I want to start scaling down more, a little bit more. I'll hold shift because I want to select just a little bit more of that. about there. And I'm going to scale that down one more time. And there we go. And I could keep doing this, of course. Might do it one more time here. Okay, one thing we've got here is these big empty areas. I don't really care for those, so let's see what we can do about that. Okay, there we go. Scale that down a bit as well. Okay, so that's, you can usually find these things really easily. Just select them, and we'll just get rid of them by filling in with other textures, like that. And you get the idea. This is creating this nice spaceship sci-fi texture for us. I can see there's a little line here. I might want to do something about that. Let's see. Not sure exactly where that's coming from. I don't think I'll worry about it. I think it's probably fine. Alright, so all that's great. We could just keep that image as it is, and then we can take it into our 3D program of choice and map it using spherical or cylindrical mapping. Or we could go ahead and apply this. As long as we're using a high enough resolution image, it should be fine to just go ahead and apply this. So I'll close this window, and it gives us the option to apply it. And, well, there we go. And we have our sci-fi texture. Hope this has been interesting. Thanks for watching. That's Howler 11.4b. That's that this is in, and talk to you later.